So, welcome to Northern Powerhouses, our business success stories series of interviews, where we discuss with local business leaders their backgrounds, their successes and challenges, and what's really driving them forwards. And this afternoon, I'm delighted to have with us Nikki Jarvis-Jones, who's director at DMD Design and Marketing. So, firstly, Nikki, thank you for spending a bit of time with us. And if you'd like to introduce yourself, DMD, what you do, how you help people, that would be wonderful.
Great, thank you. So DMD are a design. We're a design company that focuses on branding. So we are brand specialists looking at cross-cultural branding, and we also do all other aspects of design. And we are working on Canva templates and Canva workshops as well. So we
Right.
want to cover as many aspects of design as possible,
Yeah.
so that everyone with any size pocket, any business with any size pocket, can be catered for. Um,
Brilliant.
Myself personally, I've done a master's degree in cross-cultural branding, hence my passion for it,
Great.
and been working in the industry for longer than I'd like to say, probably about 17 years at the moment.
Wow, brilliant. And so what makes a perfect client for you? What are those sort of A grade clients that you're always looking for that would best benefit from your help?
Open-minded clients, I'd like to say, are the best clients. Someone who would like us to challenge them as well, because when we're
Right?
looking at a brand, we need to challenge the company, what it's about, talk about the unique selling points, find their vision and mission and drive that home, in the visual aspect of the brand and kind
Yes.
of in other aspects of the brand with customer service and everything like that as well.
Wonderful, wonderful. So Nikki, if we sort of start a little bit, look back a little bit and tell if you tell us a little bit about your background, how you got into business and why this particular one, that would be great.
Yeah, so I previously owned my own design company when I think I was about 5 years out of university. I came out of university in the recession, so there were no jobs around or very little jobs around.
Yep.
And I got a job in a printing firm, having been promised a lovely flash job at a design agency, which, in fairness, I learned probably a lot more at the printing firm than
Yep.
I would have done at a design agency.
Yes.
How to prepare things for print and how to look at call to actions and kind of a lot of things. I learned a lot quicker, I would say,
Yeah.
from that background. While I was at the print company, that is when I did the master's degree, and found the passion for branding. Um,
Brilliant.
so yeah, yeah, that's kind of the background as far as that's concerned.
Brilliant, brilliant. So when you were growing up, is this what you always foresaw yourself doing, or did you have other plans at that point?
Oh, I wanted to be everything, including a ballerina when I was younger.
Wonderful.
As you do, but I've always had a creative edge. And my mum always said to me, when I was going through school, you need to do a job that you love and a job that you enjoy. And trying to figure out that once I went to sixth form was interesting, because I was like, I liked art, I liked product design, and I'm like, how can I do something creative that is commercialized?
Yeah.
And then I went to do a foundation degree at Bradford College and found graphic design, and
Brilliant.
the love for it started there.
Brilliant, brilliant. And if we look back over growing a business, what would you say are some of the biggest issues and challenges that you've had to overcome?
I think from starting the other business previously, I think I learned a lot there. I tried to do everything myself, keep
Yes.
everything in house because I thought, oh, well, that's the most cost-effective way of doing it. But obviously, you're only one person, you've only got so much time in a day. So
Yes.
that particular business never grew to the potential that I know
Yeah.
that the MD can. So I've kind of taken that on board, and now I particularly outsource everything that I'd say I'm not as good at. Like for
Great.
example, finances. I outsource my finances, use VAs for appointment setting, and kind of and then work with other designers and art workers as well to do the smaller graphic design jobs, so that I can work on something that I'm passionate about and also work on growing the business.
Brilliant. Yeah, it's something we see a lot is that it seems cost effective to do as much as you possibly can, but all that happens is we create a business around us and we become the limiting factor to its growth, if that makes sense.
Yeah, Yeah, well, this is it, and I want to grow. I mean, my aspirations are to travel, so I'd like to grow a digital agency, a virtual digital agency that can be like the staff members be from anywhere, and it doesn't
Right.
particularly need me to carry on growing. That's kind of my aspirations for the company.
Brilliant. Yeah, I mean, our definition of a true business is a commercial profitable enterprise that works without its owners.
Yeah,
Because other than that, it's a job. It might be a well-paid job. That's great. But if it's dependent on our time, then we're always going to be in it. So 100%. And I guess the advancement of technology as a result of things like COVID and lockdown must have really enhanced the ability to run a digital agency from wherever you are.
definitely. And I think as well, with AI coming in, I mean, I'm starting to use AI so much more in the business, and it's that makes things more cost effective. For example, like I normally have an AI bot join my Zoom meetings to give me a summary of everything, so I'm not missing anything at all.
Yes.
I can then pass that on to the copyright to help me with visions and missions. I can then use that to brainstorm the things for the visual aspect of the brand. So using AI in business is going to be massive.
Yeah. I think we just scrape, just tip of the iceberg at the moment, isn't it? It's so
Yeah,
many places we're going to see it being used and effective. But that ability, as you say, to record and just give us the salient points is just wonderful.
yeah, it's brilliant. Yeah.
So looking at obviously both the challenges but also your successes, what would you say are your biggest learnings about growing a business?
I think don't expect anything is just going to happen. I think that's you think it's a certain thing, but until it's a certain thing, it's not a certain thing. So you may get a good feeling after you've done a client presentation, but it doesn't mean that job's going to come through. There could be many reasons why that ends up falling through, whether it
Yes.
be lack of funding, whether it be that it's just not the right time for the client. I mean, I have had cases where that's happened and they have come back later,
Yes.
but it's just never depending on the feeling after a client after a potential client meeting.
I think that's very sound advice, words of wisdom. That is, it's so easy to get engaged with. Well, that went really well, and they were nodding all the way through, and they said, "Oh, this is amazing." But as you say, things get in the way, don't they? And it doesn't always happen the way we hope it would happen.
They do, and I wouldn't say don't take the positives from that. If you've had a good
Yes.
client meeting, then obviously like build on those positives because it could come off at a later time. But it's
Yep.
just don't expect that everything's going to happen, even just on a thought or a feeling.
I think that's a special note for all the optimists out there. Is yeah, don't. I think the great phrase neither be optimistic or pessimistic. Just be as realistic as possible, and we'll be good. And Nikki, I think you're probably where we're a business coaching organisation. I'm keen to know who the best coaches you've worked with, whether that's business, sport, life in general. Who's had the biggest influence on you?
I think quite a few people actually. I mean, I try to take bits from any inspirational people I meet. So when I meet business coaches or when I meet business people that have been in business for a while, like some of my clients have been in business for a long while, and it's
Yes.
just it's amazing how they've done that, how they've grown their businesses. And I love to hear the stories of that. And it inspires me to see where I could get to.
Great. Great. It is, as you say, and knowledge, experience, expertise is just out there, isn't it? It's everywhere.
Yeah.
It's if we're open to it, I think. And as I said, clients can be a great source of information and knowledge. And whether it's for them or in any other way, do you find yourself using any favourite quotes or sayings about business or success in general?
Um, I wouldn't say so. I wouldn't say that I kind of use a quote very often. But I just kind of live each day as it comes and kind of hope for the best and be as optimistic as I can with that dash of realism.
I think we've got to have. I think we've got to have optimism, haven't we? Because as you say, it's a tough gig running a business, and we've sort of got to believe it's all going to be okay. It's just but understanding it might not be, and it's that sort of balancing act, isn't it?
Yeah, it's understanding it might not be, and having then options as to what to do to get it to where it needs to be. Yeah, definitely.
We did a survey quite a few years ago now about what the most important thing to business owners was. He said, what one thing would you do anything for? And interestingly enough, well, we sort of thought it would be around sort of success or various other things. It was actually peace of mind. It was just knowing it was going to be okay would be the most wonderful thing. And I think that sort of is really interesting bit of research.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. I think, yeah, knowing that everything's going to be okay, and that comes with having backup plans for any potential things that could happen, and having systems and processes so that you know that you can hand the job to anyone, and it's going to be delivered as you want it to be.
Yes, I suppose it goes back to your point about having a sales meeting, assuming it's going to be great, and not. It's having a plan, but understanding that. I was told many years ago, which I really like, was the value of a plan is in the value of a plan is in the planning, because in that process we're also saying, well, this is how we'd like it to go, but what if it doesn't? What would we do in this circumstance if these sales didn't turn up or that happened, etc. And it's I think planning is the closest thing we're going to have to certainty of the future. And the more we plan, the more likely we are to get that peace of mind. I think that we've probably, got most things covered, if that makes sense.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. Yeah, yeah. So it's always great to have kind of a plan, because I mean, I used to be, when I run the first business, I used to be quite pessimistic about cash flow forecasts, because it's just like, well, you can put anything, but yeah, you can put anything, but if you've got a plan to get to that anything, it can happen.
Yeah,
That's the kind of difference in mindset of running the two businesses that I have
brilliant.
now.
And I think we make sure our clients have cash flow forecasts because it also allows us to see where the pinch points might be, and then do things ahead of time. So it's like, well, look, things as they are, we may be a bit short of cash here, but if I actually talk to whether it's a client to pay a bit earlier or a supplier to pay a little bit later, but we do that 3 or 4 weeks in advance, there's no shocks. I think that's the challenge with often. It's like, well, if we run out of cash today and therefore we don't pay people that are expecting it, that's a problem. If we tell them
Mm.
4 weeks ahead that it might be 5 or 6 days later, they can normally manage.
Yeah.
So yeah, no, that's cool. And Nikki, I'm keen to know what you'd say you'd learned about yourself throughout your journey so far.
I'd say I've gone on quite a journey with myself and my mindset. So I do have a mindset coach, and he's brilliant at kind of um helping me celebrate my successes, because
Brilliant.
as we are as business people, it's you don't take a moment to celebrate those. Sometimes you kind of put yourself down if something goes wrong, but you
Yeah,
never celebrate the things that go right. So he's helping me kind of get my head around doing that, because that's something that I have found very difficult in the past.
brilliant. Yeah, and it's something from my perspective, it celebration helps to build in resilience, if that
Yeah.
makes sense. It's so that those resilience for me is those difficult times we've got to dig deep. If we've got the evidence of celebration, look, when we in the middle of oh no, it's all going wrong and it's not going to work. Well, we've made it work before. We've had these problems, and often I often when I work with a client, get them to look back after a challenge has been overcome. Look back and say, how bad you thought it was before we addressed this and fixed it. Let's remember that you've actually fixed that way. So when another one comes up, maybe that's going to be the same thing.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. Yeah, yeah. It's good. It's always good to reflect, and I think that's
Yeah,
that's something that I've learned to do more. So running this business.
brilliant, brilliant. And looking forward then, Nikki, what does the future look like for you guys, and what challenges do you think you might face, if any?
I think my challenge is probably finding the right people to work with, to get the to get the staff members on board with the brand,
Yep,
as I want to move forward, which I'm working on at the moment. And yeah, I think that's going to be the main challenge, because I'm wanting to do like this remote working a bit differently. So yeah, it's I've had loads of different ideas of how to do this. So yeah, we'll watch this space.
Brilliant, brilliant. And have you made plans for where you're going to travel?
Yeah, well, not plans as such, but I've made a list of countries that I'd like to visit. And I'm also on I'm on the list of trying to do the 6 major marathons. So I've done recently just done New York Marathon.
Oh, wow.
And I'm looking at applying for Chicago and Berlin next.
Oh,
To
my
see
goodness.
if we get it in them next year or the year after. So they'll be part of my travel plans as well.
Oh, well done. That sounds amazing. It, I often I would do this for myself, but I also with clients when we're looking at making that sort of bucket list of things to do, it's always categorizing them. You know, I ski a lot, so this place I want to ski in the world, and there's you know, and it helps to sort of get that, you know, and it's great to have that fun, isn't it? You say, well, yeah, I could do this and I could do that. Wowzers.
Yeah,
Oh, it'd be good, as I say, it'd be good to catch up with you in 6, 12 months and just see how those marathons have gone.
yeah. Well, yeah, we'll see if I can get in them.
Good luck. Well, good luck for that anyway. And I'm keen to know what you'd say to anyone that was thinking of going into business right now.
I'd say trust your instinct. If you feel like there's anything that you're missing knowledge-wise, go out and find it.
Yeah.
Because there's quite a lot of people that start a business and they don't know a certain part of it, and it is fine if you can outsource it. That's great. But I know the basics of it because it's easier to then manage the outsourcing if you know the basics of that.
Yes.
Um, yeah, I think that's that and just outsource what you dislike about running the business if you can.
Absolutely. I think Brian Tracy talked about the most successful organizations are the ones where most people spend most of their time doing the three things they really love and they're really good at. And
Yeah,
let's delegate the rest because there's all and I think the thing that holds a lot often holds people up, which I think is interesting, is that because we don't like something, we assume nobody would like it, and yet there's somebody will absolutely love that thing that we really don't like. They'll go,
yeah.
oh, I can't wait, you know, whether it's admin or whether it's whatever it might be. And so it's there's always somebody that will absolutely love to do those things. So let's find them and engage them.
Yeah, well, it's interesting because one of my clients is an accountancy firm, and we've had that conversation recently. It's like she was like, "No, I can't do it. I've tried using Canva. I want you to just do everything." And I'm like, "Yeah, and I don't do numbers, so I get that."
Absolutely brilliant. Yeah, and that's the point. Let's just find people that, you know, as I say, and if you imagine, it's interesting. If you imagine just spending most of your time doing the three things you really love and you're good at, it's just like how cool would that be? And if
Yeah,
everyone's doing that, just everybody just grows and you know becomes more effective, more efficient, and ultimately more profitable so quickly.
yeah. Well, I know my kind of passion is branding, so I can imagine other people's passion is getting the books straight or doing things
Absolutely.
like that. So everyone's got a passion in working in somehow.
Absolutely, absolutely. And if you started again, Nikki, is there anything significant you do differently? Do you think?
It's interesting this question because I have started again, and like I
Yes.
say, because I have done, I'd say most of the things differently.
Yes. Oh,
Uh,
right. Sure. Yeah,
yeah,
of course.
so it's I just kind of try and find someone who you can speak to as well. If you're going out on alone in business, try and find another business owner that you can both have a conversation
Yes.
with. I'd say don't keep everything on your own shoulders.
Yeah. It's tough doing that, and it's a lonely place because you know you don't really want to share the challenge of the business, certainly with the team. Don't want to take it, you know, we should best not take it home, in my opinion. And so it's having that outlet to somebody and just have a chat with that understands, I think, is really important, isn't it?
Yeah, and that might offer a different opinion as well, because you can be too close to a situation sometimes.
Yes, absolutely. I love there's a definition I often use when I talk about coaching in general, but it was actually just about friendship, which is from Robbie Williams, which if you'll pardon the slight swearing in it, he says that a really good friend is a really good friend will listen to your bullshit, tell you it's bullshit, and then listen to some more bullshit. And I just love that idea of it's that just listen. Sometimes it's just being able to offload to somebody that cares, gets it. Yeah, okay. Maybe as you say, I think you said challenge, challenge where maybe, okay, maybe we could do it differently and just be there. And I think it's if you can build a relationship with somebody like that, it's wonderful.
Yeah, yeah, definitely.
And finally, what would be the best advice you could give an 18-year-old you if you could go back in time and do so, Nikki?
Um, this one's quite an interesting question as well because I've fallen into something near enough straight away from college that I enjoy. And I know some people find it really difficult finding a career that they enjoy and that they want to pursue until they retire. And I've been quite lucky finding that. And I've always said that the tipping point for me was that foundation course at college. Because we did different subjects, and I wouldn't have changed to graphic design if I hadn't have done that. I'd have probably been product design working for IKEA. So I think having looked at all the different choices and trying out the different choices, I think that's great, and I think we should do that in more sectors, not just the creative sector.
Bang on. I think it's just we at that age it's difficult to know, even which industry to be in, let alone which discipline. I think I remember I went a very long time ago. I went to it was a what's the right called, a recruitment day, if you like, for Rolls-Royce engineering. So the part of Rolls-Royce that I think they built the jet engines. And one of the things I found really fascinating about there, which isn't quite the same as what you've described, but was that they decided that they realised that there was routes to be as seen as you choose by being either an engineer or being a manager. And it was like, and when you joined, you decided which one you would want to be, and you could go really to the top of the business, staying in that stream. But they did say for at least, I think it was 18 months, you had to swap over. So if you're a manager, you had to be an engineer for 18 months. And if you're an engineer, you had to be a manager. So at least you could see the other side. And I think that learning about different things you can do in an organization, but also what it's like on the other side it felt really refreshing that they were doing that.
Yeah, and I think like the RAF adverts as well, because they say if you can do this, you can be this. If you can do this, you can be
Yes.
this. I think that's quite aspirational for
Yeah.
people. And I think more sectors should do that to get people more interested in it.
Yeah, fascinating. Oh, bang on. It really is good. Yeah, I hadn't thought about it that way, but I'm very visual, so I'm rerunning that advert right now. Well, Nikki, look, it's been really fascinating, and thank you so much for spending some time with us. And good luck for both the business and the marathons. And for anyone that's watching right now that would like to get in touch with you or the business, what would be the best way to do so?
Either by email, so it's Nikki at dmddesign.co.uk, or you can find me on LinkedIn. I think my LinkedIn is Nikki Jarvis-Jones / creative mind. So either of those ways are good ways of getting in contact.
Wonderful, wonderful. Well, look, be great to say swing by another 6, 12 months and just see how things have progressed for you. But for now, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.